All right. I have eaten my tendies. The tendies are in fact eaten. And we're ready to go. All right, so we're gonna shift up. First news. First and foremost, we're gonna shift up. Hunt the Streamer. Hunt the Streamer is gonna start at 10:30 Eastern tonight. That's 7:30 Pacific. The other time zones don't matter. What? Anyway. Central time matters a little bit. So you want to be flattened sooner? Oh, I'm pretty sure I won last time. Pretty sure I won last month. Whammy. I kid. All right. Anyway, so we're gonna move Hunt the Streamer up. The reason why we're moving Hunt the Streamer up is I'm gonna segue that right into space news. Segue. Do those exist anymore? Anyway, boop. Check it out. So, Dragon coverage at 8:35. We'll probably key that in at about 8. Watch the thing undock. Watch it separate from the space station. Switch to Kerbal for we could switch back into KSP for like an hour. Your only win this year. Fine. I'll be like that. Then we'll switch back to KSP for an hour. Then we'll start Hunt the Streamer. Hunt the Streamer should end. If we do this right, it should end around 2. We'll get 3 or 4 rounds in. Actually, it'll probably be 2 to 3. So there's only going to be 1 Hunt the Streamer tonight with me, and then maybe 2 with a viewer or something. We'll figure it out, but I'm thinking 3 rounds at the maximum there. And then around 2 a.m. we will switch back to Dragon Splashdown coverage because I want to see that capsule re-enter. I don't know about you guys. So, we got a lot of space stuff on the docket. Once again, space stuff. There's actually more space stuff going on than KSP, which is still nuts to me. But yeah. Did you watch the video I sent? No, let's see what we got, Benditos.
Richest people on the planet are in a Twitter war of galactic proportions, with Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin challenging NASA's awarding of their lunar lander contract to Elon Musk's SpaceX, prompting Musk to engage in some quality trolling, tweeting that Bezos can't get it up to orbit. LOL. So time to talk.
Is this Fox News? Is this Fox News?
About the hottest topics in space with former NASA administrator and
Oh, Jim thought it was funny. He smiled.
Advisor, Jim Bridenstine. Jim, we saved the best for last. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Always great to be with you. What a story.
My guy!
I mean, you know what, Jim? It's so wild because for so many years, people thought that space was so boring. I tell you what, with these 2 billionaires in the mix, it ain't so boring now.
No, in fact, I really think it's amazing entertainment. So that's good just on the face of it. But even better, like you said, we have 2 titans of American industry and others. We've got others out there that are competing, to provide services to NASA, and they're fighting in order to get a NASA contract. I think it's wonderful for space exploration. It's great entertainment, and it's good for the United States of America.
Yeah, the first space race, it was all about 2 countries competing. That's what fueled the Apollo 11 program, or the Apollo program. Now we've got these 2 billionaires and as you said, other industry titans duking it out. But it's that same kind of competition that's making space so exciting again. In terms of this lunar lander contract, we had some big news tonight. It sounds like Jeff Bezos' complaint
hey, she corrected herself,
is actually having an impact. NASA announcing today that it's suspending that contract with SpaceX. How do you think this is going to shake out?
It's too early to tell. This is not unusual. When we had a contract back in 2014 to launch crew to the International Space Station, there was a protest then as well, and so the contract got suspended, but in a matter of weeks, it continued to move forward. I don't know how this will turn out. I do know that I trust the judgment and the capabilities of the professionals at NASA. But the important thing is this: there is a process here, and that is what we are going through. I say we. I'm not at NASA. Haven't been there for 3 months. But we, the United States of America, how about that?
Every Tim.
There's a process, and in the end, this process will result in an outcome that everybody is going to have a lot of confidence in. So it's really a good thing, and we'll see where it ends up.
Yeah, and the irony here, Bezos using a very similar argument.
Jim, come back.
The one that Musk used in order to fight the United Launch Alliance and gain some of those contracts. So it's really kind of coming full circle.
Yes, the United Launch Alliance. Yes.
Here, which is interesting to see. I want to talk to you about one other thing.
Why are they showing Starlink?
The very close call that those astronauts inside the Dragon capsule that launched last week, close call to some space debris. And this is, we don't know exactly where that debris specifically came from, but this is another area where Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are fighting it out, both trying to launch tons and tons of satellites into low Earth orbit, which is creating those kinds of conditions,
an hour and a half
dangerous conditions that we saw this week.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I want to be clear. There is a huge market for basically internet connectivity from space. Morgan Stanley says that market could be as big as $400 billion by the year 2040. That means there's lots of opportunity there. It also means that we have to do two things. Number one, we have to be safe in space. And so we need to make sure that the United States government, through its regulators, the FCC, and also members of Congress need to get active here and start saying, what do we need to do to be safe? And we need to make sure that there is access to low Earth orbit for a lot of different companies. We have to make sure that there is competition. I've always said the only thing worse than a government monopoly is a private monopoly that the government is beholden to. And so we have to prevent that from happening for anybody. We need competition in the marketplace. But there's a lot of opportunity here for a lot of different companies to provide internet broadband.
Stop making so much sense.
And I think that's going to be good, not just for the United States of America, but lifting people out of poverty, providing education all around the world. Mobile banking, for example, telemedicine. Remember, 50% of the world isn't connected right now. So when we can start connecting people, it's going to be transformational in a positive way. And I'm very excited about it. There's lots of room for everybody, but we have to do the right things from a government perspective.
Who do you think is winning that little war right now, SpaceX or Blue Origin?
Jim, don't do it.
Well, certainly SpaceX is launching more stuff into space right now, but I'll tell you, I recently joined the board of directors of a company called Viasat. I think they have probably the most unique and the best intellectual property to actually provide more throughput, more bandwidth at a lesser cost. So there's opportunity here for a lot of different companies. And over time, we'll see what happens. But competition is a good thing. We need to ensure that it stays there, and we need to make sure that space is safe.
Jim, I got about 30 seconds, but really quick, weigh in on China launching the first module of its space station this week and Russia leaving the U.S. space station to start its own.
So important. This is critically important. Every American needs to listen to this. The International Space Station, we celebrated 20 years of its active service in November of last year. We have to make sure that when it comes to the end of its useful life, there is a replacement. We need commercial space stations, maybe even multiple or even a dozen or so commercial space stations. We cannot feed to China or any other country low Earth orbit. And NASA has to be at the forefront of this, and we need Congress to fund it.
Jim, I got to leave it there. Thank you so much. You've been my favorite segment of the week. Really appreciate it. Have a great night and a good weekend.
Thank you.
Oh, I miss you. Hopefully Bill can fill the shoes. Oh. Who sounded like the dying elephant? Oh, God. Oh, there's a reason why he stays here. He's cemented there. I can't move him. See? Can't do it. I was late. I need to watch the full interview. No, Jim picks up on something that I've said for a long time. You don't want to have a whole government program like only SLS, because then you get a lot of waste. But you also don't want to have the government beholden to a private contractor to get to the moon. You have to have redundancy in the program, just like redundant dissimilar architecture. That's my favorite thing that Jim ever said throughout any of his tenure as a NASA administrator. That one right there. That fuels that competition. Oh, man. Correct me if I'm wrong, but does Bezos have actually hardware that flies? Yeah, New Shepard. They're going to fly people on New Shepard next month, I think. Well, Ariane kind of leaked that during the webcast, I think. But yeah, they're going to launch people very soon. Albeit on a suborbital trajectory, but that doesn't mean that that's easy to do, guys. Well, Neptune mobilizes the people to get more funding from Congress. That's what I do here. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what pretty much everyone that works in the space industry is doing right now. One thing that concerns me about Bill is that he may want to try and funnel things to Florida at the expense of the private sector as a whole. Well, the private sector operates out of Florida too, Rogue. What major did I take in college? I'm a 3D artist and CAD system operator thing. I know CAD systems. Yeah. Yeah, dim boys. Computer animation would be the technical thing. I have a bachelor's in computer animation. Jim didn't say AAA. Yeah, I know, BLT, right? So, Rogue, fortunately, there's a lot of, like, okay, guys, I don't want people, that I trailed off there. No, I don't want to delve too much into it, but they definitely, there's ways to prevent that from happening. Checks and balances in our system prevent that from really being a thing, you know? Yeah, Brim, so, yeah, no, I'm not, I honestly, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't want Jim to be there. I really do. I really do. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't want Bill to do a good job either. Like, I'm cheering him on. What's AAA? American astronauts on American rockets from American soil. So, like, let's just hope that Bill is up to the task. He gets confirmed on Monday. Jim should trademark that and sell T-shirts. I mean, John, I pretty much do that once a stream now. If you're over 18, or heck, if you're under 18, still call your reps. Seriously, figure out what district you're in. It's not that hard. What's my congressional district? Just type that right into Google. So, I mean, you could call your senator. You could, if you wanted to, or you could call a rep. This stuff's important. MA3 here. Nice. Hey, Kim. So, if we want a little breakdown in civics, so if you're over 18, you got to look up your congressional district, okay? The best thing that you can do is talk to your rep, okay? Senators, every state has 2 senators, and the senators are they represent, like, ratifying the law, like pretty much making the laws. I mean, that's what the senators do. And then you have your rep. That's your representative. That's way more important. You want to go to your rep. In the case of NASA, you want to go to your representative because the House, they go to the House of Representatives. And that is, one, determinant on population from a state. And that's why the census is so important, so they can make sure everybody's accurately represented, right? And the second part of that is the reps are the people that control the purse strings, guys. Especially for NASA. They're the ones that control the purse strings, so they talk to them. They'll listen. Devasi is like, I don't have one. What do? Yes, you do, actually. You do. You have a representative that reports to the State Duma for St. Petersburg Oblast, or whatever the Oblast is. You actually do, Vasia, but I'm not sure how much that's going to help NASA, though. Can I call the president? Yeah? No? What's the name of my rep for Canada? I don't think you have one, Kyron. That was a joke, guys. I'm kidding. Joke. Please relax. President calls me. I'm the one who presidents. No. So if you're in the U.S., I'm serious. It'll take like 2 seconds. And trust me, I wouldn't get up people's tail about this unless I thought it was unless I didn't think it's super important, you know? Sure, Bram, go ahead. No, it's fine, drummer. This is okay. Nothing wrong with telling people who their reps are. This is important stuff. Like, I don't mean to get on a soapbox, fellas, but that's the checks and balance. We're supposed to hold the Rule 8 people responsible. That's the point. If we don't do that, they can just do whatever the hell they want. And then everybody gets upset. They're like, oh, they're funneling money to big corporations. Yeah, no, well. Come on, let's go. Well, we have 14-person space agency in Sweden. Will calling them help? I don't know. But like, what do you say? Give more funding or what? Okay. All right. Buzzwords. All right. Here's what you do. You call Sawyer and say, hey, I'm calling on behalf of national security. China recently launched their first space station module up into space, and the IS. Just say literally what Jim just said. That's all. Just say what Jim just said. Like that. You can repeat it verbatim. It doesn't matter. That's fine. Right? So you just say, look, China just launched the space station into space. Russia's signed a cooperation with them to go to the moon. Russia's pulling out of the space station. I mean, that's not entirely true, but what the hell do they know? I think it's vital to national security that we remain strategically ahead of our rivals around the world. Just don't say like they're a mortal enemy, because then they'll be like, yep, okay. Dude, I'm serious. Say something like that. And I think that, you know, funding for NASA and funding for the human landing system will maintain U.S. strategic superiority in space or some crap like that. Like, look, do I like looking at it like that? No, you know damn well I don't like looking at it like that, but that's how they look at that, you know? Sometimes you got to speak some Rule 8 like Jim does. Say China has space gun? Hey, that might work, man. Just hold Jim up to the phone. Nah, talk to them. Seriously, some representatives just answer the freaking phone. That happens. So, you know, go give them a call. Give them a call, shoot them an email, something like that. They'll listen. It's not like they won't ghost you. I mean, if they do, then you should show up at their doorstep. You know what I'm saying? Just say Orange Rocket good. Seriously, it takes like 2 seconds. 2 seconds out of your day, and that might be the difference, and that might sway their opinion. You never know. But anyway, interesting segment here. So, just because I want to touch on it again, but ask them when hop. Yes, make sure. Orange Rocket bad. Wait, no, my burger's showing. I'm hungry now. Boring. Why would you do that? As I don't think HLS is going to be stranded. I really don't. I think we're okay. It's just a formality. Okay, what else do we have for space news? So, Yeah, Kyron, right? All right, let's keep going with the space news. What is this? Oh, F1 memes. Mercedes after letting Red Bull think they had a competitive car for the first 2 races. That's what I'm telling you. Hink about it, okay? That's my catchphrase though, Force. Hink about it. There's an element of truth to that one. They sandbagged, Tessa. They absolutely sandbagged. Here, check this out. After a 6-month stay, Dragon and Crew 1 astronauts are set to depart from the space station tonight at 8:35. So we got about 4 hours. And return to safely to the Earth. Sorry. Sorry, it's my native tongue. Weather conditions off the coast of Florida continue to look good for tomorrow's splashdown at 2:57 a.m. There you go. So, it's happening. Dragon's recovery ship Go Navigator has departed from the port of Pensacola. It's Pensacola, I know. And is making its way towards the primary Crew 1 splashdown site near Panama City in the Gulf of Mexico. Splashdown is targeted for 2:56 a.m. Oh boy, 3 a.m. Fight's urged to drive to Pensacola. Hey, Kyle, can you link me the SLS rollout footage? It got jumbled up in the links yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to show it during Space News. And I watched it after the stream, and I'm like, wow, I should have showed this during Space News. I have to talk to Kyle now. And I left myself a mental note. Thanks, Past EJ. All right, cool. Did Apollo ever do a night splashdown? I don't think so. 256 9999999999999. All right, here. Check this out. Kyle. Oh, is the music DMCA? I hope the music isn't DMCA, dude. Apollo 8 was a night splashdown? There you go. Where will the Chinese rocket land? I don't know, Wicked Psyched. I don't think they know either. Yeah. That's the scary part. All right, so this is coming from Fragment in chat, Kyle, who was at the press site up on OSB2 and got to see this pretty dope time lapse here, or film this pretty dope time lapse. Just saying, it's pretty awesome. Look, the mother barge is giving birth. It's not pooping, it's giving birth to Orange Rocket. It's not pooping. It's not pooping. God. Ew, gross. All right. You know what, chat? You know what? You did this. You did this.
Call an ambulance, please.
Okay, hold on. Where does it hurt?
My stomach. ちゃんと痛いけど痛い。
救急車を呼んでもらったからといって安心はできません。しっかりと自分の状態を相手に伝えましょう。
I have a bad case of diarrhea.
You did this. All right, let's see what we got. I have a bad case of diarrhea. Happy Easter, Chief. All right, so view count halves. I have a bad case of that. People leave. All right, check this out. Oh, so Brimo, I actually figured out why the rocket has to take so many turns. Okay, it's because they don't want to put the rocket in the VAB engines first, right? You want to put the rocket. You want to put the part of the rocket that the crane attaches to in there first so the crane can attach to it. So they have to turn the rocket around 180 degrees. That's why it turns. Because they load the rockets in with the business end facing out the back of the barge. And if you just turned it and rolled it into the VAB, it'd be engines first. That'd be harder to integrate that way. So the reason why it takes so many turns is because they turn the rocket around. See? Oh. That's awesome. Kyle, this footage is fantastic, dude. I said that. Well, Blackbird said that, guys. I'm so annoyed that it went out of frame on the right. I could have put that lens wider, but I didn't think about it when framing. Yeah, I mean, how far does it go out of frame, really? Like, I don't think it's too bad. Oh. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Hey, you live and learn. It ain't gonna be the last one, that's for sure. Orange rocket, good. Once again, guys, this is coming from Kyle Fragment in chat. He got some pretty gnarly pictures there of the rollout here. I'll link it up. Kyle, you will plug yourself now, or you will be executed. Seriously, post up a link, dude, for your pictures, man. Might not get a media event like this again, though. Yeah, I have a feeling we'll find more rollouts. I have a feeling we'll have more, dude. This would also fit in this footage. I'm not playing that. There you go. Thanks, dude. Did you watch this? ¿Qué es esto? No, no miro. Alright, what do we got? What do we got here?
Discovery, go at throttle. I'm Colonel Mike Hopkins, and I'm here with Commander Victor Glover. And we would like to welcome you aboard the International Space Station. And today we're going to give you a tour of the International Space Station. But before we do that, we think it's very important that we give you a little bit of a lesson first, and that's a lesson in floating. And floating can be a little bit disorienting when you first get up here. And so we're going to just give you some examples of how you can float around, orientate yourself as we're going through station. So we're going to move back here a little bit to point out a couple of important features about the floating up here. So first of all, you notice these blue, what we call handrails, and that's what we use as we're going around station to propel us around, to change our direction as well. The other thing you notice
Jonathan,
feet.
I'm not
now, we tend to use the top of our feet a lot more up here than the bottom of our feet. So when we're down on Earth, you get these calluses on the bottom of your feet. Well, up here we don't need them. We actually need them on the tops of our feet, because when we come up to these handrails and we're just staying in one position,
Fly, can you ask why they need belts? Look, man. If you wear pants without belts, you're a savage, all right? Do Mike and Vic look like savages to you? Hell no. Not a chance, okay? Should always have a belt, okay? Always have a belt. It's utilitarian, okay? You don't wear a belt? Ugh. That's weird.
We use our tops of our feet to hold us under those handrails. So maybe they shouldn't just be called handrails. Maybe they should also be called foot rails.
Yeah, it's to keep your shirt tucked in, or else
the other thing I think is kind of interesting when you see astronauts up here doing PAO events and things of that nature. You notice we tend to bob a lot up and down. It's very hard because you're floating, and floating is fun. And it's what you do when you're in space. Is you tend to kind of bob up and down. Yeah. But anyway, so we're going to show you a couple of different techniques of how you get around station. So Victor's going to demonstrate here.
I always wear a belt, dude.
And the first technique of floating through he's going to do is when you're kind of just upright, like he is right now. And so now you see he just pushes off with his hands, and there he goes. Yeah. Now remember, whatever trajectory, whatever direction he went when he pushed off, that's where he's going until he inputs, until he pushes off of something else, another handrail or something of that nature, to change his direction.
No, Fragment, let me take a look.
Now the other, and you're going to see him coming back into the scene here, that's where you're kind of pulling yourself along with your hands. And when you need to go somewhere fast on station, that's often the way that we do it. And I'm going to let Victor Ike give us some tips that he's found when
20C TARS. Yeah, it's nice and chill.
First and most important thing to remember, especially when you think you're getting good at floating around the station, is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Something we say in aviation, and it's true in spaceflight as well.
And shooting.
And the other thing is you need to think where you're going in the long view. So just like when I learned to drive on the freeway, staying in the lane going fast, you had to really aim way down the lane. If you were looking at the lane just to the sides of you, you tend to go a little erratic. And so if you know you want to go all the way across the module, just slowly orient yourself that direction and try to give a little push in that direction. And I found that to be one of the most helpful things. And then you don't have to make as many or as big corrections on the way through.
Yep. Yeah, that's some good advice. And then the last piece of advice before we get started is remember you're in space.
This isn't live right now. They posted this yesterday.
And so there is no up or down. And so every single surface up here is a surface that you can translate on. You can sit there and work in any orientation. And so I think the biggest piece of advice there is that remember, as an astronaut, when you're in space, whatever orientation you are in, that is up. And so right now, even though my head is down at the deck, as I look down station, I feel like I am right side up. And so just keep that in mind as we go on our tour, because we are going to move around a little bit and change the orientation, but remember, you're always right side up.
What module are they in? They're in the U.S. Lab module. So this is Destiny, the U.S. Lab module. That's Node 2. Harmony, that's PMA 2. And Dragon is right there. Dragon Endeavor is right through that hatch right there. Resilience is up there.
Sideways to me.
Okay, so as we continue our tour of the International Space Station, we're now going to go from the front end of the space station all the way to the back end of the space station. And so we're starting in the SpaceX Crew Dragon Resilience, and this is actually my crew quarters, and we're going to end up in the Russian service module. And so we take the International Space Station, we divide it up into two segments, or you might consider them two neighborhoods of the same city. And so we have the USOS segment, which is where we are right now, and we're going to end up in the Russian segment, again, in the service module. And so we're going to do this in one pass. We're not going to stop at any of the modules along the way. We'll have a chance. We've either already seen that, or later on we'll take some more time in each of the individual modules. But we're just going to see how long it takes us to go from one end of the space station to the other. So if you're ready, here we go.
Dragon capsule. That Dragon capsule's ready to come back down.
So we are leaving Crew Dragon Resilience, coming out of PMA 2 into Node 2. And again, this is where our crew quarters are located in the USOS segments.
Hi, Vic.
And now we're passing right into Node 1.
Functional cargo
And
block.
again, this is where the kitchen, the dining room is for the USOS segment. And we're currently passing into PMA 1, which takes us into the Russian segment. And this is what we call the FGB. This was the first module.
All right, I'm going to back up here real quick. So check this out.
PMA 1.
You want to see something cool? All right, see the white canister right there? I know what that canister's for. So the Russians, if they want to take stuff outside, all right, that canister is the exact size of the airlock. So if they have a part that needs to be changed on the station, they'll take this thing out, right? They'll seal it inside of that thing, and then they'll put it in the airlock with them, and then they'll take it outside. So like if they need something that's like hermetically sealed, they can put it in there, and then they can pull it out. It's a little tiny little pod. If they can open it, that is. Yeah, it didn't open last time.
It was the first module that was sent into space.
Those are proof containers.
And so we did a little rotation there, because you notice these handrails are on the sides, and it's a little easier to guide myself through the FGB. So we're leaving the FGB now, and we're floating into the Russian service module. And this, again, is where our Russian colleagues, the Russian cosmonauts, spend a good part of their day. This is where they live, they have their meals, and also where they exercise, and do their science. But at the same time, we do get together quite often, and so we are one crew up here. And even though we have two different neighborhoods, we all have the same goals, and it's to do science and to benefit humanity. And so that is one pass from one end of the station to the other.
Here, back it up real quick. So, look. Anybody know what those are? CubeSat launchers? No. They're barometers, guys. It's pressure indicators. Really? Torpedo launchers? Really? Very small rocks. 30mm gun handle? What the hell do you think the Russians are doing up there?
Science, but at the same time, we do get together quite often, and so we are one crew up here. And even though we have two different neighborhoods, we all have the same goals, and it's to do science and to benefit humanity. And so that is one pass from one end of the station to the other.
Okay, as we continue our tour of the International Space Station, we're coming to one of my favorite modules, and that is the airlock. And we're in luck because today Victor actually has a task in the airlock, and so he's going to tell us a little bit about that task and give us a little bit more details on what happens.
I think the Russians have some vodka up there for celebratory purposes, but wouldn't want to get drunk in space. That would
Thanks,
suck.
Mike. So, yes, welcome to the airlock. This is where we begin and end every spacewalk, every EVA, extravehicular activity. And it's divided into two main segments. This is the equipment lock, where the suits are stored and where we do all the processing and what we call prep and post, the stuff before an EVA and the stuff after an EVA.
That's so
cool. And then this portion is the crew lock, and that's where the crew goes in. We close this hatch and we depressurize that so that it's equivalent to outside vacuum, and the crew goes out on the spacewalk from in there. And so right now I am performing an activity to add some water back to the spacesuits. You see I have two spacesuits here right in front and behind me, and we use a little bit of water from each one of them for cooling in the process of a spacewalk, and we just had one a couple of days ago. And getting ready for the spacewalk coming up in a few days, I have to add a little bit of water back to each one, and it has to be very special water. So I've got a special water bag here to add water back to the spacesuits.
Okay, we're now in Node 2, and this is a very important module for us on board the International Space Station, because in the USOS segment, this is where the crew quarters are located.
Yep.
And so we actually have four crew
broom
quarters.
closets.
It may be a little hard to tell where they are, but that's actually these
pilot.
4 bump outs that you can see are the 4 USOS crew quarters. And so we have them on the sides, but we also have them on the ceiling, and we have them on the deck. And so keep in mind, once you get inside your crew quarters, there's no up or down. So again, it's whatever orientation you are in. It all looks normal when you're inside crew quarters. This module, though, is interesting as well because it's kind of like your garage. We also have workbenches in here and a lot of our tools. And so when we're preparing an experiment or repairing some hardware on board, we can take and put it on these workbenches, stabilize it, and then we can get a lot of repair work done. And cool, so now we're going to also, Ike's going to show us a little bit.
See, I thought that this looked like a tool cabinet when they were coming in on Crew 2. When Crew 2 docked, I'm like, that looks like a cabinet for like chisels and stuff. And it makes sense because if you back out, look, see, duct tape, screwdriver, they got Gorilla Tape up there, man. They got gaff tape. Yep, that's all the tools. Yeah, see, they got 2 rolls of duct tape, got a roll of gaff tape there, we're good to go.
Workbenches in here and a lot of our tools, and so when we're
what else is
preparing...
What else is up there? Just a bunch of screwdrivers and stuff.
An experiment or
Sharpies.
repairing some hardware on board, we can take and put it on
Space
these
Sharpies.
workbenches, stabilize it, and then we can get a lot of repair work done.
Okay,
so
Dish.
now
I
we're
gotcha.
going to also...
Why so many bags? The bags are all the supplies. That's everything, like, that's trash. That's here before Vic starts going. This is trash. This is food. This is consumables, clothes, everything. That's what's in all these supply bags here. I see scissors. Well, you can't run with scissors up there, so it's safe. I bet you they have WD-40. Yeah, maybe. Are you saying gaff tape? Sure. Last. I do not see your last. Negative on your last. Please repeat. I'm looking for tags, Squishton, so if it's not tagged, I can't really see it. Nope. Do you have any idea what those poles did on the Vanguard launch pad? What is the GEM, Japanese Experiment Module? That's a sound suppression system. Justin. Do they have Flex Seal on Zvezda?
So as Mike mentioned, there's no up or down.
No,
whichever
JB
way
will.
you're facing is the right direction. So I'm going to do this standing on the overhead. And so he mentioned the work areas here. Node 2 is also really unique because it connects so many important things. So off to my left, or starboard on the space station, we have the Japanese experimentation module, which consists of the Japanese pressurized module and the logistics module, a place to stow items. But this is a module of one of our international partners, the Japanese Space Agency JAXA, and it's the one we call the cleanest, nicest looking module. And so that is Kibo, the Japanese module, and we also have the European laboratory, Columbus, and that is to my right, and this is the European Space Agency's main facility on the International Space Station.
Pressure indicator.
And both of these modules have facilities for running science experiments inside, but also they have the ability to run experiments outside of the space station through pallets and exposed facilities that allow them to do experiments that are either observing space or the Earth, or doing something that's based on the being exposed to the space environment. Another very important use in this module is stowage. You see all of these bags around me. There are also 2 spacesuits sitting right here. No, these aren't our people that maybe did something wrong and we're punishing them. These are just empty spacesuits that we're stowing up here in the overhead. And behind this, when a new spacecraft, the cargo spacecraft, docks, we'll move all this out of the way because there's a hatch here that allows us to get to that spacecraft. And forward, this is Space Station Forward. This is where our spacecraft is, our Crew Dragon Resilience, through what we call a pressurized mating adapter and then an international docking adapter. There is a Dragon Resilience, SpaceX's Crew Dragon, down there, and you can kind of see inside of it now. And it also happens to be, if you're counting, Mike showed you 4 crew quarters earlier, but we have 5 members of the U.S. orbital segment, the U.S. portion of the International Space Station, and so one of us lives in Crew Dragon Resilience, and it's Mike. That's where Mike stays, where he sleeps. That's where his sleeping bag is.
Got the master bedroom right there.
Okay, we're now inside the U.S. laboratory, which is kind of the main module of the U.S. segment. And so in this module, we've got a lot of our life support equipment. We also have
Crew 2's coming down in the fall,
robotics workstations. But we also have exercise equipment, and we have a lot of science equipment in here. And so we're going to go into a little bit more detail right now about some of that hardware that we do have.
Letting the mic go and
then
just
I'd
moving
like
your
to point
hands.
out is over here you can see
we've
got,
got the master
one of our
bathroom
computers, and if you can notice on that computer, we've got our timeline. And so,
do they take the trash back to Earth? They don't dump it out into space, man. They have unmanned resupply vehicles that come up, like Cygnus, Progress. Japan's H-2A transfer vehicle, or HTV for short. Those vehicles are not reusable, so they burn up in the atmosphere. When they're done, they put their trash in there, and the trash burns up in the atmosphere.
this is kind of our daily schedule,
and there's a row for each of the astronauts and cosmonauts on board, and this red line indicates the current time. But this is also where we start our day and we end our day on the USOS segment. So we will gather here, and we will actually have what we call a daily planning conference with the ground. And so we'll touch base with all of the different mission controls on the ground just to see how the things went during the day, or how what's coming up for tomorrow. The other piece I'd like to point out in here is a robotic workstation. And so we do have the cannon arm on the outside of station, and we use that a lot for spacewalks, for grappling, visiting supply vehicles, and for...
The astronauts work 9 to 5, Flecken, but it's 9 to 5 on UTC. They make sure not to overwork them because they are in a tin can up there all day. It's just a little bit of a bigger tin can. There was a thing about that. That happened during one of the Skylab missions where they made them do too much, and the astronauts said, nah. And they're like, do more science. They're like, I don't think you have any say in this. So yeah, they work. They have time off. They work 9 to 5, just like any other day. But maintaining the space station is a full-time job. So it's not just, so like they're conducting science for that 9 to 5, but then they do maintenance on the station as well. Yeah. Do they get Twitch? They might. Saichi, I don't know. Think they got an Xbox up there? There's a projector screen somewhere around here. There's a projector screen that they can pull down and watch movies. I don't know if they have the weekends off, Fragment. I don't think so.
For also taking images out on station as well.
If anybody here owns a house, right, you know good and well that your job is half the battle there. You have to take out the trash, to do the dishes, you have to keep the place clean, you have to fix things when they friggin' break. It's a big pain in the butt. I mean, the ISS is the same way. A lot of maintenance.
Well, and so this is the robotic workstation. We have 3 different monitors that we can use to see what the arm sees and make sure it stays clear of obstructions and other equipment outside. And then this is how we control it. And so this is our translational control, which allows us to move in and out, left, right, up and down.
That's probably what happened.
And then our rotational control, and so we can pitch up and down, roll and yaw the robotic arm through these controls. And now we're going to continue further into the lab, and I am going to pass the mic off to Victor.
I wonder how they'll handle that with the ESA astronauts. In Germany, there are very strict labor laws. Maybe they suspend them. So what are you gonna do, Gartox? The station malfunctions? Oh, I'm not gonna do that because of labor laws. I'm not gonna fix it. I'm pretty sure they suspend it because you die if you don't. You know, there is that. Not my job.
And so, as Mike mentioned, in the lab, we also have exercise equipment and plenty of science hardware and facilities. And so it's a very busy module. And one of the exercise equipment, pieces of exercise equipment that we have on the station is our cycle. And we call it CVIS. It's an acronym. It's a cycle ergometer.
This
with
isn't
a
live,
Crafter.
This was previously recorded.
And so this is the ergometer, and you can see a pedal here. And in order to use it, we deploy it. And I'll just partially deploy it so you can see
the mobile exercise bike.
We use all of the space here on the space station. And so that's the cycle deployed, and there are pedals.
It's in Node 3.
We all have our own shoes, our clips that we can use. And because we're in space, we don't need to sit down when we use this bike. So there's no seat. You'll notice there's no seat. There's a back pad and this frame, which is attached to the vibration isolation system, so that while we're pedaling, we're not shaking the space station back and forth.
That happens.
This is what we hold on to while we cycle. And so we hold the handles, we clip into the pedals, and then we get our good workout in. Pretty neat, thinking that you can bike without a seat. We also have lots of different science facilities, and so there are a whole host of them, and I'll just show you 2 here specifically.
That's the sandblasting area?
This is our microscience glove box.
Oh, okay,
and we recently got a new facility called the Life Sciences Glove Box, which is an expansion of this. Behind this, there's an experiment running right now, so I won't remove the cover. But you see these 2 holes here. There are covers there that we can remove and put our hands in this box. And there's a glass window here that we can see in and work on inside through gloves on various types of physical or life sciences. And now our primary life sciences work in that environment is done in the gym in the Life Sciences Glove Box. But this is a facility that allows us to have power, video, data through the hatch here, through the wall, inside or outside, so that we can get telemetry from the experiments while we run the experiments through the various openings in the box. And another experiment that we have running currently, pretty neat experiment is going on right now, actually. We're looking at how muscle strength changes based on being in microgravity or in 1G like on Earth. And so we have small worms that move through this really neat lattice structure, and we can determine how they're moving based on how they move these pillars. And so we have to look at that under a microscope. And that microscope is here above me.
Really?
Like Mike said earlier, we use every surface. And so when you operate this microscope, you're
Space
actually
microscope.
up on what we call the overhead.
Space microscope.
And you're using this microscope, and it's connected to this Space Automated Bioproduct Lab, SABLE, we call it for short. And those two facilities are here, and the microscope is connected to it. And so we can use these to culture warm or cool things, and then we have the microscope here that we can put items on the microscope, and then just like Earth-based microscopes, we can adjust the focus and see the subject that we're looking at. So a pretty neat array of facilities and capabilities that we have here in the U.S. laboratory that we affectionately call Destiny. And we could show you a whole bunch of other ones, but we have much more of the space station to show you.
As we continue our tour of the International Space Station, Ike and I are now in Node 1.
Hi.
And Node 1 is our kitchen. And so this is where we have our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And sometimes our Russian colleagues will come down and join us here for dinner, and it's kind of fun. We have 7 of us around our table over here. But right now it's actually just snack time. We love snack time on board, and so Ike and I are going to have a little bit of a snack. And in that process, we're going to kind of show you how we go about having our meals and preparing them as well.
Sun.
So Ike is, what do you got, Ike?
French roast coffee.
Okay, Ike's going to have some French roast coffee, and so he's going to go over to what we call the PWD, and that's where we get our water. And so right now he's dialed in how much water he needs, and he hits the button, and you can probably see that water bag, that drink bag of coffee is filling up with the warm water. You notice the both the warm or the white and the blue buttons.
I've never
seen
them do
water
that before.
or for cold water as well. And once it's full, he then gets he now has a bag
has
of
fresh
coffee.
pots.
And so it is a little bit different to have your drinks up here, because we can't just have an open cup, because then the water would actually go everywhere, and so we have to keep it in these bags like this.
I wonder how much that coffee machine gets
and then Ike also is not just going to have coffee, but he's also going to have what? What do we got, Ike?
So, okay, look, it's funny. You have like the space coffee thing, right? And then you know what my favorite part about the ISS is? You see stuff that's just normal. Like you could tell like they're on a spaceship. It's got all these lights. It's got all these wires and patches. There's a laptop right there. Just a laptop. Anybody that's used the camera before knows exactly what that is. The gorilla arm. Yep. Can of peanut butter. Yeah, just peanut butter. Mag light on the wall. You just that's my favorite part about looking at the ISS. You always see stuff. You see things that you're like, oh, I know what that is. Freaking iPad right there. You got some baby wipes back there. Yeah, see. It's just the idea of like, okay, we've late loaded all the cargo. What's in this one? We have some Jif and some baby wipes. Okay. Wait, we need more. All right, go down to Walmart. All right, cool. Go down to the store. Yeah, right? We need more. More peanut butter. All right, go to the store and get some.
And trail mix. And so Ike's going to get the, so it comes double packaged up here, a lot of our food. And that's just to protect it and make sure it doesn't get spoiled or anything during the long stays that it might have on station before we actually get to eat it. So now I'm going to pass the mic to Ike. And,
that's right, Robert.
And then I'm going to get my snack ready.
Get your snack
Mike's
on.
Got a bag of tea, and he is going to do the same thing. Add warm water to it. I believe you could.
Communism detected.
Have cold tea if you want it as well, but he's going to have a warm tea, and you've got a really good snack, or parts of what's going to become.
That tea
really
is
good
sus.
Snack. So there's some wheat crackers.
That tea is very sus. Okay? Toss it out the airlock. Now. The airlock's right there. They're in node 1. The airlock is right next to the... Out the airlock. That T is sus.
Peanut butter. And then grape jelly. Peanut butter and jelly crackers. That's a hard one to beat.
Grape jelly, though? Oh, Mike.
And so you
Mike,
see the table that we have here. This is where we have most of our meals. And it's also expandable. Yeah. We could unfold the bottom half and it would be twice as long. When we have our cosmonaut colleagues come down, we generally open up the table and we have a nice big family style table to have our dinners.
Strawberry jam. Guys, who the... peanut butter with... No. Brimo does that. No, you gotta have strawberry jam, dude. Grape is superior. Kyle! No! Don't do this!
We have most of our meals.
Thank you, Cor.
And, yeah, we're going to show you what snack time is like.
Well, Victor's getting into his snacks now. There's a couple utensils that are very important on board station. Right. One of those is a pair of scissors. You always got to have your scissors ready for when you need to eat when it's snack time or meal time. Because some of these...
That guy's an astronaut. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I mean, I don't have any... comeback to that one. I guess you're right.
The bags are hard to get into without the scissors. Then the other thing that's very important, though, in this case, Victor's not going to need it, but in general, the thing that's also very important for us is our spoon. You notice we have a very long spoon, but that allows us to get, when we have some of these other food bags that we have, they're a little bit longer, so that lets us get all the way down into the food bags. But that is a critical piece of equipment on board the International Space Station, and if you lose that, it's not a good day when you lose your spoon. But you'll notice the other advantages of floating that you don't necessarily have to always get it right the first time. You can catch it up to it. But then the other hand, it does tend to make eating sometimes a little bit messy when you're having soup or something that's got a sauce on it. Oftentimes when you pull it out of the bag with your spoon, you'll have a few drops. And so every day on Saturday, or every Saturday, is cleaning day for us, and this is one of the nodes that can get kind of messy because meal times do tend to get a little bit messy. So you notice Victor's meal or his snack is something that's prepared, right? So my snack, though, it takes a little bit more work. I've got to, I'm going to also have to cut open my bag for my wheat crackers, and I will do that right now. Again, scissors are always handy.
The scissors are tethered.
One of the other things that we tend to do is we never cut all the way through because then it's a little piece of trash that can easily get lost up here.
Does the jelly toast also drop on the jelly from the side of the table? You know what? I think if you dropped it, the universe might implode. I think we figured out a way to make warp drives. So what if you have like a piece of buttered toast in space, and then you duct tape that to a cat, and then you let it go? Would it make a warp drive?
And so now I've got my cracker.
Yeah, that would really suck, Rocket Guy.
And I'm going to need my spoon. And so I get a little bit of peanut butter.
Yes, you're right.
Well, maybe a lot of peanut butter.
I want some peanut butter now, too.
I'm going to put it on there. The other thing you notice, there's a lot of Velcro on station. And so here, I've got Velcro on my spoon, and that allows me to set it down because otherwise it's just going to float away. We don't have the benefits of gravity up here where you can just set something on the table and it's going to stay right there. On the other hand, I have to let go of my cracker, and it's going to stay in the general location. And so now I'm tearing open my jelly packet, and this is, as Ike said earlier, this is grape jelly.
I wonder if Sergey's behind.
I'm a big fan of grape jelly.
When did they upload this?
Voila, I now have.
So that was, I'm pretty sure that was Sergey Ryzikov. So this was a couple of weeks ago.
A cracker, a peanut butter and jelly cracker.
Bon appetit, or as we say in Russian, priятного аппетита.
Okay, we're now in Node 3, and Node 3 is one of these special modules as well because there's a lot of different activities that happen here in Node 3. First of all, it's our exercise room for a couple of our pieces of equipment that we have. So we're going to look over here, and you can see our treadmill.
Vic's the man.
And
there's Colbert.
So this is called T2, and the treadmill what we actually do is we put on a kind of like a backpacking harness, and we connect ourselves to these bungees. And with these bungees, they then hold us down on the treadmill, and then once it actually starts moving, it's not a bad cardio workout, but it also, the impacts as well as you're running are important for us, because they help keep our bones healthy, and so it's not just for cardio.
Cut, dude.
Moving on into node 3 here, another very important piece of equipment on board, and this is our toilet. And so a couple things about our toilet. You can see there is a can here, and this can, that's where the solid waste is collected. And then the urine is collected in this hose. And so because we collect the urine separately, we're able to recycle that urine. And
I'm not doing nothing super
there is a lot of equipment that it takes to recycle the urine, turn it into drinking water.
Bro, toothpaste. Dude, that just messes with me. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. It's so funny. You're looking sus? I'm not sus.
And a lot of that is hidden behind these racks.
Got some moisturizer right there, hell yeah.
That are here in node 3 as well. Now continuing our tour of node 3. This is also, as I mentioned, we have several exercise pieces of equipment in here. And this is our ARED, which is our weightlifting device. And so we are able to lift weights. You can see it's got
That's right.
an exercise bar, very much like
Hell no.
the exercise bars that you would find in your standard gym, but on the ends, we don't have the spot where you would put weights, because of course the weights wouldn't work up here. What we do have instead are these cylinders that we take to a vacuum. The cylinders up here, we can take them to a vacuum, and then through a series of pulleys and lever arms, we're able to generate weight loads that go anywhere from, you can see, down at about 10 pounds all the way up to 600 pounds. And so we have quite a bit of capability here to exercise.
No wonder Mike's freaking cut, dude. So 10 to 600, that's about 5 kilograms to 300 kilograms. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Behind this wall, where you can see actually quite a bit of storage, there's actually another hatch, and on that hatch is connected a NanoRacks airlock, and so we have another capability of taking payloads and putting them outside of the station. Of course, if we have to do that, we actually have to move all of this equipment first, and then we can access the hatch and that airlock. Now one of the other really special places here on board the International Space Station, and this is the cupola. And the cupola is the window that faces down at the Earth, and so it's when you have a few moments, it's always a special place to come and look out. But we also use it as well for Earth observations. We also use it when we're capturing a vehicle, a supply vehicle that comes up, such as a Cygnus, and so we can reach out with robotic arm. We have a robotic workstation here that allows us to do that. So I'm going to give you a quick look outside and give you a sense of what our views are like.
Dude, Cygnus. Look at the Cygnus
capsule.
It's
a pretty incredible view.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it really never does get old.
Vic, put the camera down there. Vic.
The Earth is an amazing place.
Put the camera down there. Yeah, bro. I love it. I've seen this many times, dude. I don't care. It's awesome. Look at progress.
The rest of station, the outside of station. And so as you're looking back, you can see what we call that Russian segment. And there is the Soyuz.
Wait. I gotta back it up real quick. So look.
Of the rest of station.
Look, remember I told you about the white capsule that the Russians use, right? There's the airlock for it. It fits right out the airlock. See it? The Soyuz in progress docking modules on the ISS. So Pirs, Poisk, and Rasvet are the three. Pirs and Poisk are airlocks. They are airlocks as well, so they can use them for docking ships, or they can use them to go outside. It can be used either way. And of course, there's Pirs and Poisk. There's two redundant modules, right? So they could, they always have a spare airlock. Isn't that cool? See the little hole? That's the airlock hole. So that capsule, if you want to keep something hermetically sealed, but you got to take it outside, boom, right there. Comes right out the airlock.
So as you're looking back, you can see what we call that Russian segment. And there is the Soyuz, where our two cosmonaut crewmates, Sergei 1 and Sergei 2, they came up in that, as well as Kate Rubins.
So that's MS-17. That capsule's back down on the ground.
Progress, which is a supply vehicle.
Progress 14. Both of those craft are back down. This is an old video. Cygnus.
Cygnus, which is one of our supply vehicles. And as you continue looking,
freaking mag light.
That is the U.S. lab.
Dinner plate.
Connected to Node 2, which is where those crew quarters are located. And if you look off the front of station there, that's where the SpaceX Crew Dragon Resilience is located. And then the
this is great.
JIM, the Japanese module, with its exposed facility. And then on the other side,
Dragon's
is
a beast,
the Columbus module.
It's a beast.
And so that kind of gives you a good sense of the layout.
Yeah, this was before port relocation.
And then the other piece that I'll
This
show
is an
you
old video, but it's still cool.
Is when you look out
truss segment
along the trusses, and you can see those solar arrays, those giant solar arrays that generate the power for us, as well as radiators
that
help us with the cooling. And so we have those solar arrays on either side of the station.
See it? Yeah, you ain't wrong,
On this side, it's a little harder to see because that Cygnus vehicle is in the way, but you can kind of see one of the solar arrays back there. And again, this is a nice view of the outside of station. I just have a couple more modules to show you real quick. One of them is what we call the PMM, which is basically our storage closet. And so when you take a look inside here, you're going to see that there's not a lot of room in here because storage is at a premium. And so this is inside the PMM. Again, it's just a big storage closet for us,
3 a.m.
and we keep it pretty full all the time. Okay, that concludes our tour of the International Space Station. Hopefully you enjoyed it, you learned something, you learned how to float. So the next time you're in space, you'll be able to adapt that much quicker. But it was a real pleasure for Ike and I to be able to give you this tour. And again, we hope to see you real soon back on Earth. Bye, everyone.
So the space station, so the PMM, the Permanent Multipurpose Module, that's so when the shuttle used to resupply the space station, right? Because that's what we do. The shuttle could build space station modules, right? Or it could send up supplies, or it could do both of those things at the same time. A lot of times it did. So they'd store the supplies in what's called a multi-purpose logistics module, which is basically an ISS module that's just hollow. That's it. So on STS-134, one of the final shuttle missions, they came up with supplies, right? And they took the MPLM and they just attached it to the station and then they just left it there. So how the shuttle would come up if it was resupplying, right? It would come up, it would dock to the station, they'd pull the MPLM out, they would dock it like in the spot that Cygnus is, right? And they could take the supplies out, you put supplies in, the shuttle would grab it, they'd put it back into the shuttle's payload bay, and then take it back down, right? On the last shuttle missions, they just left them there. They left it there. So that's what the PMM is. It's the shuttle's, that's the space shuttle's resupply module. What's that thing? I forget. Are there any plans to build onto the ISS to make it bigger? Yeah, fun. Absolutely. Here. I can show you. So NASA has a contract with a company called Axiom Space. Axiom Space is going to dock modules to Space Station Forward right here. So it's going to look something like that. It's a dipole antenna, Steven. There you go. How did it get any modifications to be able to last longer in space? No, it didn't, King. It's literally the shell of an ISS module. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's an ISS module with a grapple hook, and that's it. Here, I'll show you. And the Russians, believe it or not, are going to send up a new capsule very soon. So here's a picture of it inside of the shuttle's payload bay. Take a look. There it is. It's literally a space station module with nothing inside of it. And a CBM on one side. That's it. What's the module on top of Akibo? That's the a Japanese storage module. Pretty cool, huh? That, I'm not sure if that's the exact MPLM that's still up there in space, but yeah, there you go. Flight hardware for Axiom. Is that the mill? Yeah, we saw that. It's pretty cool. They have the Bigelow Expanded Activity Module, or beam, up there. I don't know why they didn't show it, but it's opposite the cupola. See it? Actually, it's opposite the PMM. Leonardo flew as an MPLM 7 times before its permanent installation during ST. It was 133, not 134. Thank you, Kalani. Yeah. Yep. They use it. They use it all for storage, man. Which spacesuit is this? So that's Orlan. That's the Russian EVA suit, Swishio. I have your link up here. So you linked this for Space News. This is Orlan. That's the Russian extravehicular mobility suit. That's all the life support systems, dude. Yeah, the Russian... So, the American suits have like a... they have a torso piece, and then there's a leg piece. You slip into the torso piece first, and then you put the leg pieces on, right? Like pants, right? And then they buckle together. And then, last thing you do is put your gloves on, and you have the backpack that's already on the torso piece. That's your life support systems. It's a little mini spacecraft, dude. Now, the Russians are a little bit different. It's a one-piece suit. One-piece suit. No, not a three-piece suit. That's what the EMU is, right? So, you basically open up the back door, and you put your feet in first, slide in, arms in, somebody closes the door behind you, boom, you're ready to go. And then you can see they have a double redundant seal right there. See that? It's an inflatable seal. That's what that is. See the two channels for the seal to go in there to make sure you don't leak? I do not leak. You leak. Looks more practical? Hey. Nagwell, there's a reason why I say the Russians get it, man. They know what they're doing. I would feel uncomfortable having all those things on my back. Trust me, you wouldn't even be worried about it. You wouldn't even be worried about it with a view like that.
Good views.
Thanks,
of
Mike.
the rest of station, the outside of station, and so
what
as
about
you're looking
CO2?
back, you can see.
What about it, Clayton? Clayton, do you really think the Russians would invent a spacesuit that just lets you just leak CO2 everywhere inside of the suit? Come on now. This is an HVAC system. That's what it is. It's an HVAC system built into the back of the suit. That's it. There's a couple of CO2 scrubbers in here somewhere. I don't know where they are. I'm guessing the part that looks like it's removable up there. Now, keep in mind, Swishio, this also has a seal. They zip this up. They zip up the life support systems, and then there's a cushion on where your back is. See it up there? Why haven't we done an artificial gravity thing yet, like spinning a donut to simulate gravity? Well, you're going to have to deal with precession when you do that. And what happens if one side of the station, all the people are on one side of the station? Then it's going to do this. You're much better just flipping a spacecraft end over end. But even then, you're turning your spaceship into a carnival ride. Do you think that sounds right? Temperature control too. GNAC, it's a spaceship. Don't think of this like a suit. This is what separates like the flight suits from Orlan or an EMU. This is a spacecraft. That's what it is. It's a spacecraft. That's it. There's a lithium hydroxide canister there. Yeah, maybe that thing. So, gee, this is...
Discovery, go at throttle up.
This is a spaceship. You're getting inside of a spaceship. It's a one-person spacecraft. Victory, 38 months, over 3 years. And tears. Suit Sat 1 is proof of that, yeah, right? Oh, God, Thomas. Why aren't all the spacesuits the same? Well, there's Russian spacesuits for the Russian segment, and then there's the EMU for the international segment. Oh, I know they do. I was just curious, how do they keep the CO2 level from building up in those suits? A lithium hydroxide scrubber is usually what they use. I think that's what they used on Dragon, but I'm not sure if the Russians use that. The Russians probably use something similar. There's a scrubber in there. Basically a scrubber that takes the carbon out of it. So is there any other way of making artificial gravity besides spinning? A Dyson sphere, maybe? Bungee cords. That's right, Tape. Cosmonauts are trained not to exhale CO2. Constantly accelerating? You see, what you guys say artificial gravity. Don't call it artificial gravity. You just need an accelerated force. That's all. As long as you have something that's accelerating you either albeit by angular momentum or by constant acceleration forward, is something that will mimic gravity, but it's not artificial gravity. That's not how that works. Just use magnet boots. How do they work? Can you move the tow truck in front of the Apple store somewhere else next time you play? It blocks the view on the store. I didn't build that. We'll have to trace the plates. Just build the ISS with the same mass as Earth. Yeah. Have you tried just building the universe? Like, yes, absolutely. 20 minutes. Oh gosh. Man, I didn't think they were going to begin coverage so damn early. They don't undock for another 3 hours. Yeah, Wildland, yeah, right. Hatch closing and stuff. Well, we watched Crew 1 go up, man, and we watched them go all the way to the space station, so I want to watch that, dudes. I'm not going to cover the whole cruise on the way down. No, we'll play KSP on the other side of the undocking, you know? And then we'll play KSP for a little bit, then do some Hunt the Streamer, and then we'll have the docking come back down. How's the Dragon recovered? With a boat? KSP hasn't been scrubbed. We'll play it on the other side of docking. So, I want to watch this. So, quick other news before that starts up. The SN-15 launch temporary flight restriction for Saturday has been removed. A TFR for Sunday has not been taken down yet, but I understand that the current flight target for when hop is now Monday. There you go. Okay. Right from the FAA. Hey, Anth, what's up? They're gonna splash down at night? Yep. I hope there are a lot less boats with flags during the recovery. You guys really won't let that go, will you? Okay. Let's see. What else do we got? So, this is coming from Rocket Lab here, and I covered this briefly yesterday. This is 2 electrons sitting down to the launch site ready to fly. Satellite checkouts and encapsulation are underway for a busy month. So, do we know why they scrub? I couldn't follow the news lately. No, Endo. I don't know. So I got 2 electrons right there. See that one? Oh, excuse me. See that one? With the white inner stage. That one's going to come back, man. Or at least they're going to try to. Hey, Dish, are you here, man? Is that what you're talking about? That thing right there? There's a reason why they have a white background on the toolbox, right? You don't want to leave a tool inside of the dang thing. This is the one that's going to splash down. They're going to splash down again, King. Yeah, electrons. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Electrons aren't big, guys. They're a tiny little rocket. Is that a referee? Nah, just New Zealand attire. I don't know. All right, so check this out. What, you guys want to see something cool? We got a tweet from Strato Launch here. So take a look. Sharing the progress we are making on our fleet of hypersonic vehicles. We will continue to conduct flight tests of our carrier aircraft as we prepare to launch these vehicles from its center wing. What the heck? Carbon fiber for Electron victory. CG, and I'm finally getting around to planning to fix up that old 57 Bel Air that my wife's grandparents own. They're giving it to me as a pseudo graduation gift. I managed to grab some pictures of the interior and close-ups. Can I just, shuttles are cool. Can I just get out of here? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember you linking me this. I love it. Shag carpet, bro. Are those beer cans in the front seat? Different times, dude. Meaning bad times. No radio, but all the trim is there, man. Oh, this thing is cool, dude. Oh, yeah, Steegen, yeah, you got it. Let me ask you something, Steegen. Do you see something wrong here? Do you see something wrong here? We got no engines, Ted. Do we? Do we? Put a Chevy motor in it? It's a Bel Air. Yeah, this needs a 327, man. What would be the correct ignition timing on a 1957 Bel Air Chevrolet with the 327? No, it looks good, man. Yeah, no, this is fine. Dude, the headliner's in one piece. That's, Steegen, that's rare. The headliners are usually the first thing to go on these things. Load more images. Bro. Bruh. It's got the fog lights right there. Nice. Oh, yeah, a little bit of... oh, no, this is straight, man. This is fine. 76. Oh, you're in Tejas. No wonder it's in good condition. I know what that is. There you go. EJ, I want it. I want it. 283 Fuelie. Yeah. What do we got, Hellfish? This looks... So this is small block Chev right there. Small block Chevy. The valve cover is a dead giveaway. Oh, the casting number. I don't know how to read GM casting numbers, to be honest with you. Room for a big block? It's a 57 Bel Air. You could put a truck engine in there and still have room. 6 degrees before top dead center. They got a Corvette engine that we're planning on putting in it, at least for the time being. Nice. Okay. Stratolines doesn't exist. Fake pictures. Is it true that they push it out to the pad? Velo, it is. Yeah, it is. It is. Wasabi, those pictures look great. Alright, anyway, back to Stratolaunch here. So, Stratolaunch has some pictures of their Talon A separation test article. Huh. Go ahead, Arcsign. The only thing that's truly missing is the transmission. You have to dig what? Put a turbo 350 behind it. A dime a dozen. Just get it running. Oh yeah, we know about that, Arcsign. Talon Schmalin. It's a D21 with windows. Kralani, did I ever tell you that I like you? You're cool. Look at this. Interesting. About Talon A. Let me see. The link isn't working for me, so. A versatile hypersonic testbed. Meet the Talon A, a Mach 6 class vehicle designed to make hypersonic testing more routine. What the hell is this? Look at this thing. I'm not ready right now. And then there's some pictures of it. That's a wind tunnel. Yeah, it says it right there. I was gonna say, that's a wind tunnel test article. Now it says it on the side, idiot. What's the purpose of that? It's a hypersonic test bed. They also have a larger one in development. Cool. Right, Tessa? Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? They could fit 3 of these on the plane. Nice. What do they want with a hypersonic plane, though? Can't do space with it. They're scaling up. They want contracts with universities. Yep, yep. I mean, Prey, Stratolaunch, now that it's built, is, you know, you have a very unique capability right there. I mean, you could carry a real biggin up to 30,000 feet. It does have D21 vibes. I am getting Lockheed D21 vibes. Yeah. I don't know, Guinea. Maybe. What is that? You don't know about the D21, Prey? Really? You don't know what that is? Where do people sit on that? It's an unmanned reconnaissance, a hypersonic reconnaissance drone. We do a Pegasus-style launch, but with a Falcon. Wouldn't that be something, dude? I do not. So, the D-21 is a hypersonic testing vehicle, or a hypersonic drone. It's basically The SR-71 would go up, it would launch it, and then it would fly over wherever. It didn't work. It would fly over the Soviet Union or China, and they would... It's basically a little mini SR-71. I saw it, Sebi, already. It's pretty. Looks great. Yeah. Hypersonic drone. What the hell? See something rare. Ultra rare. Okay. Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, read about the D-21 Prey. Pretty interesting bit of kit right there. Anyway. Yeah, that's cool that Stratolaunch is posting some flight hardware. I mean, it's not space flight hardware, but it's still flight hardware, which is pretty good. So, in other news about flight hardware, but it's flight hardware for another planet, check this out. They extended Ingenuity's mission. NASA has announced that it is extending the Ingenuity, the Mars helicopter's mission. This means that the chopper will support NASA's Perseverance rover, helping it hunt for signs of life. Hey, Snakes. Errol, what's going on? The new phase will last for another 30 Martian days or sols, but the team said it was hopeful the operational role could be extended further. Yeah, baby. That's cool. So, Ingenuity is performing above expectations. Dude. That's so cool. They switched to launching the D-21 from the B-52 after a fatal accident with the modified SR-71. Yeah, that's right. Elon is letting Twitter come up with skit ideas. Oh, God. Oh, no. The Doge Father. Lex. Oh no. Yeah, Brian, I know what you mean. Oh my God. Oh no, yeah? License to cancel. Oh my goodness. All right, so they are in fact doing more helicopter on Mars. All right. So here, let's get the we'll get the Russian news in here real quick to see what's going on over there. Okay, there we go. SpaceX is live. Oh boy. Alright, we'll get through this quick then. So, the transfer chamber of the Zvezda module on the ISS where the cracks were found has been sealed before arriving of Progress MS-17 on June 30th. Before closing the hatch, Peter Dubrov set up a camera there and scattered dry soup as an indicator of air leaks. Cool. The aft part of the space station, right here, that's where the cracks are. Don't get me wrong, leaks happen on the space station. It's just, you got to do something about it. You have a typo in your title. I fixed it just for you, Cajun. Thank you. Oh, wait, here. Oh, no, I made a typo again.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Oh, it didn't update. It couldn't update. Sorry. All right. Anyway, let's go real quick again. Here, I got it. I changed it just for you. There we go. There we go. I changed it just for you. Check it now. It should be better. I changed it just for you.
I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea.
The orientation system of the out-of-warranty but still working Meteor M2 satellite suffered a failure yesterday, and on its last photo the camera shows the edge of Earth instead of looking straight down. Uh-oh. Well, it's beyond life expectancy, so I hope that's not some space debris. Shaking my head. Why do I still watch this? Why do you guys hate that so much? I think it's hilarious. No, seriously. Seriously. Do you want to waste my time? Okay. Do you want to waste my time? Okay. I waste your time. I waste your time by diarrhea. Alright.
Discovery, go at throttle.
Okay, I think that was it. There's not much else coming out of Russia right now. But we will flip over here to SpaceX and we will get some hatch closing ceremonies from Crew 1, who is departing the space station today. One splashdown. Tomorrow morning for you, Ando. Did you get the Space Council news? Yep. Do they lower their orbit before entering? Just a little bit, Eukerman, yeah. Panama City, Viscous. Same place as DM2. Will the Coast Guard be there to keep the Florida Man flotilla away? Sure. Oh yeah, baby. Here we go. Roger.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground.
New possibilities are opening up for scientific cooperation between countries.
2, 1, 0.
Hail, Columbia.
Discovery clears the tower.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Discovery, Roger. Go for deploy.
H2 and everybody in the shuttle program, the crew is go for launch.
Roger. Nice to be in orbit.
We have followed in their footsteps to get us where we are today.
Good afternoon.
Andy?
It's Saturday, May 1st, here at SpaceX's headquarters in Hawthorne, California. We are coming to you live as we await for Dragon Resilient spacecraft to depart from the International Space Station and make its way back to planet Earth. We do expect Dragon Resilience to push away from the space station at about 5:35 p.m. Pacific time with our Crew 1 astronauts, 3 from NASA, Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, Shannon Walker, and from Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronauts Soichi Noguchi. My name is Andy Tran. I'm a production supervisor here at SpaceX. I'm very excited to be bringing you live coverage of the Crew Dragon completing its second trip to the space station with people on board as NASA's first official long-duration mission of our Commercial Crew program. Joining me today is NASA's Public Affairs Officer, Leah Cheshire. Leah, how are you doing today?
Hey, Andy. I'm doing awesome because you can't be anything else than that whenever you're excited about bringing some people home from space. So once Dragon departs station, the crew's flight home is expected to last
another
6.5 hours and include 4 departure burns that move Dragon away from station and 1 final deorbit burn. Dragon is targeted to splash down off the coast of Panama City, Florida, in the Gulf of Mexico at 11:56 p.m. Pacific or 6:56 GMT, followed by the crew getting picked up at sea by one of SpaceX's recovery vessels.
Now, the crew have been up there for quite a while. The mission began on November 15th of last year.
Just a heads up, we saw something small, silver, float towards the airlock, bottom of the airlock behind you, from Soichi's suit.
Oh no, my airlock, mate.
Towards the deck.
Yeah, right, CN? I know. You might be able to see the re-entry from Panama City. Wait for it.
So what we heard was those beeps are Quindar tones, and that is the core or the crew operations resource engineer communicating to the astronauts.
Nod and smile. They're going to start talking, and another kid.
So that was the Capcom, the capsule communicator in Houston, still communicating with the astronauts aboard the International Space Station, as well as we get Crew 1 suited up and back into Crew Dragon.
And we'll try to pause to make sure that everyone can hear those communications. But
and Houston, copy Joe. Last, which direction was it? Flying? Oh, I found it. Thank you.
Glad to be of help.
I found it. Never mind.
So this mission began last November on the 15th.
On the big loop.
SpaceX here.
That looks good, Reagan. Getting there. Oh!
Hey, and I think the control panel lighting batteries that are installed now are the newest of the 2 of the 4. But I just wanted to confirm: do you want us to replace the batteries, or do you want us to leave the ones that are currently installed?
Stand by 1.
He's got 4 hands, man. I love this. This is the best, dude. I love watching this stuff.
So as you can hear, there are a lot of checks underway right now between teams here on the ground in Mission Control Hawthorne and in Mission Control Houston, with both the crew on the International Space Station that will remain
Japan,
once Crew 1 departs today, and the Crew 1 astronauts themselves. So it's just those final checks that have to happen as we're getting ready for hatch closure coming up here shortly.
And on screen, that is a view from the International Space Station. That is Soichi Noguchi suiting up.
He and Shannon Walker will go ahead and suit up outside, and that's Aki Hoshide next to him. That's the new space station commander. Command was transferred over to him from Shannon Walker, who's also departing today. And Walker will have probably already suited up at this point. They will ingress the vehicle already in their suits, and Mike Hopkins and Victor Glover will suit up after.
SpaceX on Big Loop 4, answer.
Joshan, maybe. You'd have to look north. Norte.
And SpaceX, go ahead on the big loop, and you guys are coming in a little bit scratchy.
Copy. Yes, we concur. You swapped those for port reload, and those ones that you have in there are good to go. You can skip that step in 2.103.
Dude.
Okay, copy. We'll leave as is. Thank you.
Oh, this is so sick, dude. This makes me so happy. See, they're going up. In the video we saw with Mike and Vic, Dragon Resilience was over here. But what they did was they took Resilience and they put it up there. So Dragon Endeavor could dock here. And the reason why they did that is they want the next Dragon 2 to come up, the unmanned one, which is CRS-22. They want it to dock to the top node. So
as we wait, we can see
what they're doing is they're shuffling They're playing the driveway shuffle. You know, if you have a driveway, you have multiple cars in the driveway. You want to take the car that's always furthest from the damn road. So you gotta get another car, back another car out, take another car, drive it up the street, then put the cars back. Right? That's exactly what they're doing, but it's on a space station. So there's Oleg Novitsky there, Aki Shide, Shane Kimbrough, Megan MacArthur, Mark Van Hee is right there. Oh, there's not a lot of space going up into resilience there, huh?
And that is Suichi going through the A-Pass hatch and the vestibule into Dragon.
It's going down in the Gulf, Cajun.
We've got some cargo stowage.
I'm telling you, man, if you're on the Gulf Coast, look south. You might be able to see that
getting
thing.
Those final photos with your crew members in space. The next time they'll all see each other is when those crew members return to Earth as well. So I think it could probably be kind of hard to leave your friends after spending almost 6 months on board with them. And there's NASA astronaut Shane Kimbrough, who just arrived a week ago on the Crew 2 mission.
The WB-57 will do it, Kelly.
He's helping them complete their checks
they'll film it.
Ahead of hatch closure and undocking today.
And also part of the Crew 2.
When's the re-entry?
Astronaut does Thomas Pesquet.
2:30 a.m.
With his hand on the blue.
Or 1:30 a.m. for you guys.
Rail. He's also going in
One splash.
See if he can
2:56 a.m. Eastern Time.
Pesquet also arrived a week ago, and he was the first European Space Agency astronaut to fly on board Crew Dragon.
It is Alley Cat, that's right. How are those suits pressurized in case of a rapid decompression of the capsule? Well, with some zippers, nuclear, and then they have an O2 line and a cooling line that they can plug into Dragon. They're gonna stay a day in orbit? No, and they'll be on the ground in 6 hours. What's that giant red dryer tube looking thing? HVAC. It's HVAC. You got to keep the air circulating around. It's literally an HVAC line. Well, Urbanus, we'll cover the undocking. I mean, it really depends, guys. I mean, oh, duct tape. It really depends. We're gonna at the very least get some Hunt the Streamer in, so we might not end up playing KSP today because I want to watch this. I don't want to miss any of this, guys. Do they cover splashdown?
From the inside of the International Space Station, the Cabot module, the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency module. And you can see a lot of those stickers there tell us a little bit about the history of who's been on board. You've got some crew member signatures and sentiments. And to learn a little bit more about the International Space Station side of things and how those operations are going in preparation for undock, let's talk with our colleague Brandy Dean in Houston. Brandy.
Brandy.
Thanks, Leah and Andy. And we are here inside the International Space Station Flight Control Room watching just as you guys are there in California. We're currently awaiting the astronauts, as you said, Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, Shannon Walker, and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Soichi Noguchi to ingress and board Dragon for their return flight home. As you are seeing, ingress is definitely already underway. It'll wrap up once Mike Hopkins and Victor Glover board in just a few minutes. Ingress it actually involves
don't ignite anything
getting
inside.
into their spacesuit inside. We've seen Shannon Walker and Soichi Noguchi already in their spacesuit, but Victor and Mike will follow up by putting theirs on once they do board.
Got it, Forge.
Let's take a look at some of the upcoming milestones, not only for today's departure, but also splashdown.
Because I didn't drink fuzzy lifting drink.
First up, of course, at 3:20 p.m. Pacific time or 5:20 Central, we will be watching for hatch closure. Once all Dragon crew members are inside their vehicle in just a few minutes from now, they'll be able to close the hatches between them and the International Space Station. As I said, Mike and Victor will be donning their spacesuits once they are inside the Dragon. And as you saw there on the screen, those aren't the big white spacesuits you might remember from spacewalks, but the SpaceX spacesuits the crew will wear during all of the dynamic phases of flight to protect them in case of an emergency. There will also be a series of leak checks on the spacecraft that will occur before the crew makes their way into their seats to strap in for undocking. At 3:25 p.m. Pacific or 5:25 Central, we'll have the A-Pass hatch closure.
You might be a little
Dragon's
too far
hatch
north,
is closed,
Trojan.
Shane Kimbrough, one of the space station crew members staying behind, will fix a docking target
Probably,
to the
John.
outside of the A-Pass hatch and then close it, creating a space between Dragon and the station known as the vestibule. He'll then make his way out of the pressurized mating adapter between the two vehicles and close the forward hatch on node 2 of the space station.
Yep.
SpaceX, this is Resilience.
At 4:10.
Dragon cabin configuration for departure is complete 2.10. However, Ike is still working on the polar lockers.
Copy. Thanks for the status.
Telling me that Victor can't get the bureau closed?
Dragon Commander Mike Hopkins there reporting that they are making their way through the different tasks and check marks that they need before they are able to close the hatch.
Seriously, he's closing the clothing locker. That's what he said.
Continuing through the activities coming up at 4:10 p.m. Pacific or 6:10 Central, we'll have vestibule depressurization. Once all the hatches are closed, a ground command will be sent to open valves on Dragon and begin depressurizing the vestibule, essentially venting the air inside and bringing it down close to vacuum. They'll pause at about 5 pounds per square inch for a few minutes to allow temperatures inside the vestibule to stabilize before they finish that depressurization. And then at 5:20 p.m. Central, 7:20 p.m. Pacific, 7:20 Central, we'll listen for the go, no-go call for undocking. Teams here in Mission Control Houston and in MCCX and Hawthorne will do a joint call for undocking. Finally, at 5:35 p.m. Pacific, 7:35 Central, that will be the actual separation. An undocking command will be sent, followed by a few minutes for the umbilical that connects the power and data between the two spacecraft to detach, and for 12 hooks holding the Dragon in place to retract. Then 2 quick firings of the Dragon's thrusters will initiate separation, and undocking will be complete.
Your go for right-click
now,
undock.
The astronaut Shane Kimbrough is going to watch the undocking and departure from the cupola, but the prime departure monitoring role falls on the crew. Mission Control Houston will back them up from the ground.
And SpaceX, this is
As you've heard several times, Dragon's flight is intended to be autonomous.
Dragon departure prep.
That's the commander of Dragon Endeavour right there, Shane Kimbrough.
And Resilience SpaceX, assuming that means bolt torquing is complete?
Bolt twerking.
You are go
Torquing.
to complete LIO configuration, IMV teardown, and hatch closure per procedure 2.103. You can perform a LIO changeout to cartridge 2, and when complete, then execute your instructions in your hatch closed event details, followed by suit donning per procedure 4.010. How copy?
They're going to change out the LIO scrubbers. That's part of the life support system. The lithium.
Okay, so we have a go. Pike is complete with the polar torquing 2.103.
They are.
LIO cartridge is 2, and once complete with all of that, we're go to close the hatch and get into the event details.
What's in the white bags? Clothes and food. Okay, the LIO scrubbers are part of the life support systems. They're lithium oxide scrubbers.
Mike Hopkins again, commander of the Dragon, talking with the team on the ground in Mission Control X in Hawthorne about the steps that are getting ready for its departure today, and specifically the lithium hydroxide cartridge reconfiguration. They'll also be working on some teardown of ducts between the two vehicles, the Dragon and the International Space Station.
Who's killing a duck?
All leading up to that hatch closure that we're watching for.
Somebody step on a duck?
Here on the space station side of the activity.
How do they clean clothes on the space station? It's very simple. It's very simple. So, you take a pair of clothes, you take a shirt and pants, you want to clean it. So you take it, you go find a new shirt and pants that would be in one of these bags. You put that on, and then you take the old clothes and you put them in a capsule, and they proceed to deorbit that capsule and burn up in the atmosphere. You don't wash clothes on the ISS. Water is too expensive. Yeah, they're expendable clothes. Seriously.
And we should probably mention that
with
just
the exception
before we
of a
came on
couple
air
of things.
Today, we heard that the weather is go in the most recent weather briefing that comes about 2.5 hours prior to undocking. So everything continues to move on the timeline here. And then there in the center of your screen, you've also got NASA astronaut Megan McArthur. She arrived with the crew members a week ago on Crew 2.
That's Mark Vinhe in the red shirt right there. NASA astronaut. He flew up on MS-18 on Soyuz. Reentry kills 99% of known bacteria. That's right, Cowboy.
Let's learn a little bit more about our astronauts that are departing today. We've got Crew Dragon Commander Mike Hopkins, who was born in Lebanon, Missouri, but grew up outside Richland, Missouri. He was selected as an astronaut by NASA in 2009. He's a colonel in the United States Air Force and holds degrees in aerospace engineering. Sure. Hopkins flew on the Russian Soyuz as a member of the Expedition 3738 crew, logging 166 days in space. He performed 2 spacewalks totaling almost 13 hours to change out a degraded pump module on the space station, and his military experience includes testing C-17 and C-130 aircraft. During this mission, he also completed 2 more spacewalks, bringing his total to 4.
Next up is pilot Victor Glover. He's a native of Pomona, California.
Pomona.
He was selected as an astronaut by NASA in 2013. Glover is a commander in the United States Navy, holds degrees in general engineering, flight test engineering, systems engineering.
For the LIO changeout.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to verify that when we take LIO 2 out of the bag and install it, we then put LIO 1 in the storage location but outside of the bag, and that just the bag goes to Endeavour. Is that correct?
That is all correct.
They're just figuring out places to put the LIO scrubbers on the Dragon capsule. You want to make sure that you log everything.
And again, that was
spaceflight.
Commander Mike
You have to be very
Hopkins
meticulous with spaceflight.
Some LIO checkouts.
Because you want to know where everything is. You don't want to have like any debris flying around or anything.
Who is off screen with Aki Hoshide.
Upside down Toma. Yep, there's the bag. They said they put it outside of the bag. Well, there's the bag for it. What's LIDO checkout?
So Glover, the pilot, as I was mentioning,
it's a LIO, L-I-O, a lithium oxide CO2 scrubber. That's what they use. They use it to scrub the CO2. It's part of the life support system. What they're doing right now, I'm pretty sure, is they're reconfiguring the life support systems on Dragon Resilience to put it in flight configuration to come home. Because I noticed when they took Dragon Endeavour, when Dragon Endeavour docked to the station, which we watched a week ago, they reconfigured the LIO scrubbers right before they came in. So my guess is that they're basically reconfiguring the capsule, which has basically just been tethered to the space station and tapping off of the space station's electrical and life support power. They're reconfiguring it for Dragon to be in flight mode, in free flight mode, not docked to anything.
2004 and is a doctor of philosophy in space physics. Walker flew on the Russian Soyuz as a flight engineer for Expedition 2425 aboard the International Space Station in space for 163 days. During that mission, she was the robotics operator supporting 3 contingency spacewalks to remove and replace a failed pump module specifically, on the space station. Shannon is also one of only a few dozen people to be both an astronaut and an aquanaut, having spent 13 days underwater during NASA's Extreme Environments Mission Operations 15, aptly called NEMO 15. During the mission, she lived inside the world's only research station, Aquarius, which sits at 60 feet beneath the ocean surface and just down the road off the coast of Key Largo.
And last but certainly not least, mission specialist Soichi Noguchi is from Yokohama, Kanagawa, Japan. We saw him donned in his spacesuit and enter the Dragon vehicle just earlier. He was selected as an astronaut by Japan in 1996, has degrees in aeronautical engineering, and is a doctor of philosophy in advanced interdisciplinary studies. Noguchi has logged a total of 177 days in space, having flown on the STS-114 on the Space Shuttle Discovery and on the Russian Soyuz as a member of the Expedition 2223 crew. And while on STS-114, he became the first Japanese astronaut to perform spacewalks on the International Space Station, completing 3 spacewalks totaling 20 hours. He's also one of very few people that have flown on 3 different spacecrafts, the Shuttle, Soyuz, and now Dragon.
Resilience LIO swap out occurred at 10:25.
Copy 10:25, thanks.
Interesting. Yeah, that sounds right, Thomas. Tyndall? Yeah, that sounds correct. Yeah, Bandit, right? Yeah, they run off GMT up on the space station, or UTC. It's easier to coordinate international time that way. Like, because there's Russians up there, there's Japanese up there, and the Americans up there. It's easier if everything's unified in space.
Soichi Noguchi, as you mentioned, logging 177 hours on his previous space flight, and this time he comes home. All 4 of these astronauts come home having added 168 extra days in space.
Dragon SpaceX for LIO time clarification.
Yeah, see time clarification. You watch 5 minutes fast, Mike?
Nope.
Hey, we copied 10:25 for that LIO time, but it is currently 10:22. Can you confirm we copied correctly?
Yeah, so my iPad's got a little fast on it, so 10:22 works.
Copy 10:22.
What did I tell you? Hey. Okay, 5 minutes fast kind of guy. All right, I got you.
The crew discussing
Early
those
is on time.
lithium hydroxide canisters being switched out. So we mentioned they're coming home with 168 days in space, these 4 crew members. And once they splash down, they will be breaking a record from the set by the final Skylab crew of 84 days, 1 hour, and 15 minutes in space by an American crewed spacecraft. And that was in February 1974. So just another first for Crew 1.
The crew is continuing to ingress the Dragon. The next major event coming up as they continue to do checkouts is Dragon hatch closure, followed by the APAS hatch closure on the space station side.
So,
and we heard that.
Why does it take longer to get there as opposed to coming home? The reason why is because with Dragon right now, they still don't know, like, they don't have a lot of flight time. There's not a lot of flight hours with Dragon, so it pays to take your time, especially when you get the spacecraft up on orbit. That 24 hours that they use while Dragon is up on orbit before it gets to the space station is used to just check everything on the spacecraft, make sure everything is good. There's an interior shot right there. Mike and Vic don't have their suits on yet. You want to just make sure that everything's good with the spacecraft before you bring it near the ISS. That's why it takes 24 hours. As they launch more Dragons, they get more flight times. This like kind of trial period for parking orbit can be lowered over time, just like it is with Soyuz. Now, in terms of coming back, that's not that big of a deal. In terms of coming back, yeah, spacecrafts, you already know the spacecraft's going to work, so it's not going to take as much time, you know? Does that make sense? Like, you already know that the spacecraft works because it's been up there for a long time, so you could basically do it at your leisure.
Just that.
There they go, closing the hatch.
That forward hatch.
They close the forward hatch to Endeavour. Mike and Vic. Pilot in the foreground, commander in the background. Pilot on the spacecraft always sits right seat, commander sits left seat. On Western spacecraft.
So what Mike and Victor are wearing are essentially comfort garments. It's like athletic wear that they will wear underneath their suit.
It's just Under Armour. Yep. What do you realistically see?
There's actually 2 hatches. The forward hatch that Leah had mentioned that they are currently working to close. There is also a side hatch.
Could be 6 hours.
That later on after splashdown, that's where they will egress from, and that's the same hatch that they used to ingress when they were launching back in November last year.
The view on your left from the International Space Station side of the operation. Not only does that Dragon hatch have to be closed, the APAS hatch has to be closed as well. Crew member Shane Kimbrough will be...
Resilience hatch is closed.
Copy, hatch closed.
Are you playing Fruit Ninja? Oh, there must be Angry Birds.
And
no, she's opening up the checklist.
A good comm check with suited subjects, so we're going to go ahead and unplug the cabin mic.
Copy. Sounds good. And for your awareness, we do plan to do a short nitrox injection following hatch closure to slightly bump cabin pressure.
Okay, that's Nitrous oxide. It's just NO. Nitrox is just nitrogen oxygen. It's not nitrous oxide. That's
that hatch closure
N2O.
call coming at 3:25 p.m. Pacific time as the International Space Station was flying 269 statute miles over the South Pacific Ocean.
I don't know what you. I don't see any.
We also heard the call that they have good comms in their suits. Again, as Leah mentioned, there's an umbilical on the right thigh of the suit that will give the suit all the avionics and electronics they need, including the comms. It also provides air and gases.
That's the cabin
later
microphone
on,
right there.
You know, the Dragon's capsule re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. It gets exceedingly hot, and so there is nitrox purge through the suit to keep the astronauts nice and cool. And nitrox is essentially a combination of nitrogen and oxygen, very similar to the breathable air that we have here on Earth.
Yeah, they want to make sure that you put some inert gas in there. Mix some nitrogen in there. Yeah, it makes it a little bit safer.
Garments, they serve another purpose as well. If you're familiar with compression socks, it's sort of a similar thing. They're orthostatic garments that these help the crew. They're sort of compression pants and squeeze their legs. That helps force the fluid from their legs up toward the upper part of their body when they come back to gravity. Helps everybody feel a little bit better after spending 6 months in space.
Yeah. And it looks like we do have some satellite handoffs. That is to be expected. They're part of the tracking in geostationary orbit, 22,000 miles above the Earth's surface. And so we expect them. We should get communications and video back here shortly. That is a view of Mission Control in Hawthorne, just to my left, as the team here continues to support Dragon departure and docking, and eventually splashdown later on tonight.
But that has a lot to do with pressure and
expect
stuff
to get that communications back in just under 2 minutes now. But as you mentioned, you've got SpaceX Hawthorne there, and we heard from Brandy Dean earlier in Mission Control Houston. The teams are still in joint operations, meaning they're working together, ensuring the safety and the proper execution of everything that happens today. And that'll occur until the vehicle Crew Dragon is outside of the approach ellipsoid. At that point, the International Space Station teams will continue monitoring the International Space Station as they do 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And teams here in Hawthorne will be focused on Crew Dragon itself.
So this Crew 1 team, they launched in November 15th of last year. It took them about 27 hours to get from Earth to the International Space Station and dock and open that hatch. Today is going to be a little different. After we undock, it'll take about 6.5 hours from the International Space Station to deorbit, re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, and eventually splash down in Panama City, off the coast of Panama City, in Florida. So quite a bit of difference there. The return duration can take anywhere from 6 to upwards of 30 plus hours. There's a lot of things that go into, the time of return, the duration of the return, but it's all for the comfort and safety of the astronauts. So today it's going to be a nice short one for the astronauts. They don't have to wait too long in the Resilient space capsule.
Pretty impressive, if you ask me. You can't really drive across the state of Texas in 7 hours, but you can make it from the International Space Station back down to Earth.
Well, that's only 200 miles.
Some of those factors that we were discussing that play into the length of a return can be, a lot of times we see crew sleep. We want to make sure that the crew are rested and able to monitor the vehicle as it returns. And of course, Crew Dragon is fully autonomous, but we want to just allow them to keep an eye on it and not get too tired as they step through those procedures. So that definitely played in their favor today.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks, baby.
So next up is now that the Dragon hatch is closed, the commander, Mike Hopkins, and the pilot, Victor Glover will don their spacesuits. So a little bit more about the suits themselves. They are custom-made one-piece suits. The gloves, the boots, the helmets are all integrated into the suit. So effectively, it's like a onesie. You kind of get in and everything just zips up. And then the umbilical that I mentioned earlier will pressurize it and give all of the electronics that they need for the suit to be able to communicate from space to ground. The helmet itself is 3D printed nylon, and the outside of it is made up of a few different materials. The gray material is Nomex, which is related to nylon, just a little bit different. It has some additional properties that the astronauts definitely would enjoy. It includes a sort of temperature resistance and radiation resistance and chemical resistance as well. And the white part is Teflon, I believe. But each of the suits are custom made to each of the astronauts. And as we continue to get crew ready to depart the space station, we are now joined by NASA's Commercial Crew Program Manager, Steve Fitch from Houston. Steve, thanks for popping in, and we're hoping you could give us some insight to the steps NASA and SpaceX have taken to get ready for tonight's return.
I was a shuttle flight controller for a long time.
Okay, hey, thank you very much. It's great to be here. It's pretty exciting to watch the crew getting ready to undock here in just a little bit under 2 hours. We've spent a lot of time over the last week or so getting ready to come home. One of the big factors has been weather and trying to find the right circumstances and situation to bring the crew home. So what we typically do is we start looking at weather. We were originally going to undock and land on Wednesday, and so around Monday we started looking at the trends in the weather and evaluating all the different sites and trying to find the best option to come home. And so, it's taken a little while to find that optimal weather. Really what we're looking for is winds under about 6 to 8 miles per hour in that range. And so we've been looking at the sites over the last few days, and it turns out that the best site over the last 3 days or so has been this Panama City site. And so that's really one of the things we've been doing.
So, I mean, coming back in 6 hours also is the weather, too. I talked about it like spacecraft, but
I can tell you a little bit more details about the, yeah.
Sorry, so there was a change. Now we're targeting a night landing, which will be another first for Dragon with crew. So how have the teams sort of changed and anticipated in order to make sure that this night landing goes successfully?
Yeah, well, first of all, the vehicle is certified to land in day or night. There's really not an issue with the vehicle itself. And recovery, we have been practicing to recover the crews in day or night. We knew that when you look at kind of how we've set up the program, we have crew rotation missions in April and October, and we pick those months for weather. And so in either of those months, we can have both daylight or night opportunities. And so they've been practicing recently on the last cargo mission. In fact, the CRS-21 mission, which landed in January, that was a night landing, and the SpaceX team recovered that vehicle, and the Crew Dragon and Cargo Dragon are very much identical. So we've been getting ready for this opportunity. And the primary switch was really for the weather. Right now the weather forecast for this particular landing is winds on the order of about 3 miles per hour, and the sea states are about 1 foot. So I got some pictures today from the ship and the recovery ship, and the water looks just like glass. And so when we were looking at opportunities, and we debated this switch tonight very carefully, one of the big considerations was the weather was so good and so benign. So we're putting the crew and the vehicle down in very benign winds and very benign waves. And so that's best for the crew and best for the vehicle.
Yeah, 1 foot
and then
swell
when we looked at the night opportunity, it turns out that we'll have quite a bit of moonlight. We'll have a few high clouds, maybe around 22,000 feet, but they'll be very thin. And so we'll have a good moonlight out in that area as well. And then, the ships have lots of lighting and lots of night capability. And so the fast boats from the SpaceX Go Navigator ship will go out, and they'll be at the capsule in about 10 minutes after splashdown. So when we weighed all those options, it just looked like this was the best time to come home, the best opportunity. When we looked at the winds for most of the week at these daytime opportunities, the winds were pretty high. And so, after we talked about it for several days. We convinced ourselves, hey, the right thing to do is bring the crew home. In this night opportunity, the vehicle and the recovery team are certified to go do that operation. We talked it over carefully with the SpaceX recovery team, and they're ready to go. And in fact, the ship's out there on position right now, ready for the recovery.
Well, thanks so much for the time, Steve. Do you have any final thoughts before we let you get back to the operations?
No, I would just say we're excited about the return. You know, entry is always a nervous time for me and others at NASA. You know, I'm really excited for the landing. I'm very proud of the teams that worked so hard on this mission for all these months while the crew was on station and preparing for that mission. If you just step back and think about this month of April now heading into May, it's been very busy for commercial crew. We had a port relocate of this vehicle early in the month on April the 5th. A launch not very many days ago now, just a little over a week ago on April the 23rd, and then you know, now this return and landing for the Crew 1 vehicle and crew, and it's just an exciting time. I can't thank the teams enough for all their hard work at SpaceX, at NASA, across the country. You know, it's a very big team effort, not only between NASA and SpaceX, but the FAA is involved in clearing the airspace for the landing. The Coast Guard's involved in making sure we have notice to mariners and boats out and also patrolling the area. The Federal Communication Commission looking at the reentry and communications. And then finally, the Department of Defense, Detachment 3, in the event of a contingency, they're available to go do a worldwide rescue of the crew. And so we have a great team. We're ready to go, and we're well practiced. And so we're looking forward to landing this morning.
Here we go.
Again,
Mike
that was
Vic
Steve Stitch, NASA's Commercial Crew Program Manager, giving us some additional details on the road to Crew 1's departure this evening. It is excellent news that although it is a nighttime splashdown, the sea states are pretty much ideal conditions with very little winds and very small waves. Now that Dragon's hatched is closed, the crew is preparing to depart. We're going to take a short break before we get ready for undocking. Our live coverage will pick up at 5:15 p.m. Pacific time, about 15 minutes before the undocking command is sent and Dragon gets to physically separate from the station.
And you've got a view on the right-hand side of your screen of Crew Dragon still attached to the station, and everyone is now in their suits. Not fully zipped just yet, but everything continues to progress. And once we undock, we'll stay live with you the entire time until Dragon splashes down off the coast of Florida on target for Saturday, May 1st at 11:57 p.m. Pacific time or 6:56 GMT on Sunday. So don't go anywhere. We will see you soon as Crew 1 gets ready to depart the International Space Station.
Installed it not too long ago, so I assume it was done by procedure correctly, but we'll see.
Well, capsule's down. We're done here. Capsule's down. We're done here, guys. Yep. It's okay, guys. We've solved spaceflight. Guys, we've solved spaceflight. It's fine. Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility with copy on the ground. Well, guys, I've brought my specialized MDA. This is a milk dunking apparatus. And I have my specialized, this is a HCI. This is a human consumable item. And we will proceed to follow step 1 of taking the HCI and dunking it into, proceeding to put it into the MDA. Chat, are you go for dunk? Roger, chat is go for dunk. Chat, I have completed step 1.1 for HCI, HDA, MDA dunking. We moved to step 1.2. Chat, this is Eric Johnson, Mission Control. I've now completed step 1.2 of consuming the human consumable item, the HCI. HCI has been consumed. We have lots of signal on the cookie. Range not clear. Wait. Does that mean I'm not hungry? Abort, spit it out. No FAA clearance, the cookie isn't flying, unless I like that. It's one small bite for man, one giant cookie for mankind. It's a milk absorption device. Well, it's not absorbing, this doesn't absorb the milk, it's a dunking apparatus, okay? Great pictures, D-Man. One giant dunk for mankind. Alright. Well, they should be back here. How long did Andy say they would be back? Or how long did Andy say they would be gone? Nothing new, Lava Eagle. Oh, pro skill, that's cool, man. Undocking at 5:15 Pacific, so that's 8:15, so they're going to be gone for another hour and a half. So much water on this planet. Yeah, it's like 70% water. So are the people that live on it. No, Blue, I haven't. Alright. Well, I'll figure out what I want to do when we get back. I'm gonna go put this in the sink. I hate leaving dishes around. not yet. 2020. You guys want to play GeoGuessr? Is land covered by clouds usually? Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. All right. Well, I didn't think they were going to take this much of a break, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, Pixel, I don't see why you couldn't do that. Nice Fender shirt. Thank you.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Fly the Sea Dragon. Play Minecraft? Hey, Valise. 11-month resub. Well, I think I want to play some KSP. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Has there been a rescue mission yet? Yes, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday there was. And then I put down a flag for old Jebber. And then I got all the parts. I cleaned up the site completely. Alright, yeah, we'll get in some KSP and see what we can do. Hey, how goes the space? Good. They're getting ready to close the hatch, Novus, for Crew 1, but they stopped the coverage. They're like, and we're getting ready for hatch closer. Okay, we'll be back. I'm like, well, that's annoying. We decided the direction of the man program. You cover the forward join stuff for CS2? Yeah, we did. Briefly, but we did, yeah. They closed it while you were getting cookies. I know. I have the stream on. Brimo had the stream on in the kitchen. I saw it. Someone say Sea Dragon? Nice. I don't know why they went offline. They shouldn't have done that, but yeah, I suppose we could play KSP in the meantime. That's fine. I just don't want to get involved in a project in KSP or anything and then frickin', you know, be into it and then lose my train of thought because Crew 1 stuff starts again, you know? Hoping things are well. Question, do we know when the guys are splashing down? Yeah, wave 2:56 a.m. Eastern time. So, yeah, we're a little ways out. Just mess around in engineering mode. I vote launch the crane. I made a big mistake yesterday. Didn't have enough fuel to get back from the moon safely with a science lander, so I made it a satellite for another mission. Off the coast of Florida. Panama City, yep. They said they would be back right before undocking. Yeah, that's going to happen in about an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know if you did roundabout. I got my second this idea. Is there more than an hour of gameplay predominant? Because I don't want to get into it and be like, nah, never mind. I could look around and see what we're doing in Minecraft. Yeah. They said they're going to be live again in 81 minutes. Nah, I'll mess around in Minecraft for now. We'll work on our city project. I don't want to get too involved in a project in KSP because then I won't, you know, I'll like start working on it and then I'll forget and then I won't remember where I was. So we'll mess around with Minecraft. Minecraft is much easier to just jump into and then be like, nah, and then jump into it. So let's go look around the city. Let's see what we can see. This is and crew 1 docking, then GTA. Alright, cool. Let's see what's going on there. Yeah, I know, Supercraft. That's fine. I told him to. I have trouble making a high-altitude plane for a 17K plus science mission. I have all the 90-point tech, but nothing above. Oh, Coop, that's going to take some time, dude. You'd be better making, like, a suborbital space plane or something.